Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Chip here once again, and I'm Sylvester here. We're back from the Mercy Toys, and welcome back to my play of New Super Mario Bros. U for the Nintendo Wii U. So last time that we actually did manage to complete some of these levels in Layer Cake Desert, and today for this video is that hopefully we're gonna finish up Layer Cake Desert. So, yeah, as far as memory goes, I think we might actually just use one of those items on our inventory items. Let's go for the Fire Flower for this next level we're about to be hit into. Layer Cake Desert Dash 4 Spikes Spouting Sands. Or in this case, Spouting Sands, as far as I can say already. So as far as you guys can know, that this level features spikes as far as the enemies, as well as the spouting sands as well. So, guess there's not much else we can actually just to say about this level, honestly. It's just basically those two things that we might actually come across into. So, yeah, that's all that there is to it. So, I believe we actually did miss on something. Let's just go ahead and hit back for a second there. Well, no, as a matter of fact, though, that we actually got over, over 40 lives for this right now, even though that as soon as we get into the later levels, that we can get even much more lives, as far as we can notice that already. So, again, because it's way too easy to get extra lives throughout, so, oh, goodness gracious, that almost gonna let us fall off for that particular, platforms right there. But that's how you're supposed to get the second star coin. And believe it or not though, that this level actually contains a secret exit. Now, were we gonna notice that? Well, we'll explain that more to that as soon as we actually get these three star coins first. So, the last star coin, we need to actually use the mini mushroom for this particular level. Now, you remember the mini mushroom power-up from the previous 3 entries in the new Super Mario Bros. Games, that you can basically, the coolest ability with the mini mushroom is that you can walk on water. Well, now and then, that this game actually has a ability to actually let Mini Mario to actually run up walls, which kind of reminds me of something related to Super Mario World. But hey, this is kind of pretty cool for that with respect. So, yeah, but in the third and final star coin, you have to be very, very quick, and you don't want to get the sand or spouting sands will actually caught up to you, because if they're caught up to you, you probably ended up missing their star coin no matter what. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. And as you can see, where we went into the pipe cannon, this will actually lead us to the secret exit in level, in this case, the Layer Cake Desert Dash 4. So, you can essentially just fit through this little tiny hole you can actually barely fit through with either Smaller Mario or even Mini Mario for that matter, or there's actually an alternate way that if you actually become Super Mario form, then you can actually have the ability to actually crouch and slide. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. Not so hard, I made it, so hey, anyway, so this level's not too hard, honestly, as far as I can see from that point until now. So, once you find the secret exit in that level, you actually access to Piranha Plants on Ice, which is kind of reminds me of something related to more likely Dancing on Ice, but except it's like Piranha Plants on Ice, except for Dancing on Ice. So anyway, so yeah, as far as the that we actually already mentioned briefly on this new Mario game we're about to come out until the iPhone devices, which was called Super Mario Run. And basically, that game kind of reminds me of something like a combination of New Super Mario Bros. 2 and Sonic Runners simultaneously, in my opinion. Just because, obviously, I believe, just like how it does it on some of the stages, mostly due to the Sonic Jump, the original Sonic Jump on the iPhone devices, that you could go through stage to stage, basically. So, as well as that though, there's also plenty of modes you can actually deal with it, although there was one single-player campaign known as World Tour, if I remember rightly, and I believe there's also Totally, which I can't remember exactly what that was going to be called in there. But I found this to be a really surprising announcement in my eyes, just because not only did we actually have ourselves the next iPhone were about to be released, which is the latest model, which is just about to be announced until now, which was iPhone 7. Yeah, I can't believe how we actually got into 7 models at this point in time, which is kind of ironic. But, or not so ironic, but it's just a bit too strange. Because even then, though, that couple of years ago that we actually got iPhone 6, but now I think in this year that we actually have ourselves iPhone 7, so you know. Layer Cake Desert -5, Dry Desert Mushrooms. And just like Mushroom Heights, we're going to be taking place into these mushroom platforming levels, in this case the sky levels, so... And also, as you probably expected, the Rodent is actually dealing with some of these regular spikes as we saw from before, but rather than we're going to deal with, these enemies right here are stone spikes, which somehow they made those appearances in the earlier one throughout the game so far, which is kind of strange as well. But hey, at least I don't mind about this thing too much though, I gotta have to say, so... Yeah, for Super Mario Run, and I'm pretty sure that the... Oh yeah, there's another thing I'd like to talk about here. This is the newest items they actually introduced in this game, which was actually green rings. And if you remember the red rings from the previous New Super Mario Bros. Titles, that if you actually go for the red ring, then basically you can actually get yourselves 8 red rings. And if you collect them all, then you can actually get yourselves an extra item for you. And then as far as the green ring is concerned, that basically you have to do when you're trying to go for the green rings, it gives you a option to actually go all 5 of those spinning flowery some sort of type of mushroom movements, which or in this case the flower movements of these green coins. And then basically every time you collect all 5 of them, it basically acts like very similar to the red coins does, is that if you grab them all, it also gives you a power-up or item. So most of the time if you actually just fully leveled up like Flying Squirrel Suit or Fire Flower or Ice Flower or something like that, basically that allows you to actually give yourself some 1-up, so yeah. Alright, Layer Cake Desert 6, Blooming Lakitus, which I'm assuming that's what this level's called. Yeah, Blooming Lakitus. So as far as you expected, that this almost kind of reminds me of something related to level 2-5 from New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but except the noticeable difference is that unfortunately there's no Yoshi in this level, which is unfortunate. But as far as this level is concerned, I found this level to be quite as easy as it used to be, for me anyway. But as you expected, that this level actually features some Lakitus, like basically you're actually trying to send down those Piranha Plants X this time as opposed to the Spinies. Well, usually he will try to spew out those Spinies until later on, so yeah, as far as we can just notice that until we actually get into the latest levels. If you couldn't tell already, if you actually let your character don't move for a little bit, this happens. Mario actually stares at you at screen, which it kind of reminds me of something related to the, again, New Super Mario Bros. Me from the Wii U's tech demo back in E3 2011, which kind of also does that. Which, that what usually happens if you actually just stay there for a few seconds. It kind of also reminds me of the waiting pose from Sonic the Hedgehog's 2D games, like for instance Sonic 1, Sonic 2, and I don't know if Sonic 3 actually has that tradition. But although I think Sonic 3 actually has a really wicked animations where Sonic usually just do a little, I don't know, it's been a while since I actually played Sonic 3 since then. But anyway, so yeah, from Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic CD and Sonic 4 Episode 1 and Sonic 4 Episode 2, when if you wait Sonic for a long while and then he'll basically just look at you thinking, I'm waiting for you, yo. But anyway, yeah, the final star coin right there is pretty easy to grab. Like, if you especially noticeable if you actually grab yourself a Starman or something thanks to that roulette block underneath it, and then basically you can actually grab it. So yeah, that's kind of amusing. Yeah, we already take damage by Lakitu just once, which is kind of a little bit there, but we'll take it as it is. Alright, so before we actually enter ourselves the next level in the game, or in this case the next level in the Layer Cake Desert, which was the castle itself, we're not going to do that just yet though, because we're going to do the secret level up in the top. Warning, falling ice, which assumingly that might actually bring ourselves some of the gimmicks to it. Well, not so much gimmicks, but we're gonna have some obstacles to deal with. So here we go with Layer Cake Desert secret level, Piranha Plants on Ice. Sure, it's strange that how we actually ended up in a snow level in a somewhat of a desert level, seems like it, because even then, very similar to how it does in Super Mario World, world map style. Now you can basically just manage to guarantee it by you actually trying to actually get into the different world themes from— Oh god! Ah, darn it. That was kind of my fault. Oh, darn it, these ice cubes blocks are crushing me for somehow reason. Let's go ahead and equip the flying squirrel suit real quickly so it makes this level a bit easier. So I'm assuming that that this level's gimmick is that there are giant portions of, or in this case, a larger portions of the piranha plants themselves. And basically, you don't want to let these piranha plants melt at this little bit of ice parts right there underneath this ice cube, so that you don't want to instantly get crushed. So yeah, just like how we did that in the cogs. So yeah. But either way though, if you actually get crushed by a cube or anything like you saw right there, somehow if you actually fully leveled up or fully powered up though, it still managed to think that you take damage once and you take damage again and then instantly death. So yeah, that's kind of a nuisance anyway. I really love this this snowy themed world theme in this particular game. It's not just a matter of how the graphical style is actually slightly different compared to the original or these other 3 installments counterparts, but also the fact that as you can see, that there are some bit of constellations in the background, somewhat similar to how it does it where Mario Party 9 actually has that, well, as well as some starry backgrounds, which is kind of cool. And the third and final star coin, we have to be really hurried to get onto the top so that you don't accidentally just to drop down or anything, or in this case just be too late on that. But either way though, that's it for that level. So you have to deal with a few of these ice physics involved in there too, so there you go. We don't need for me first posting, so usually I don't normally post me versus this much just because of how although granted back in the day that we found the Miiverse support looks very interesting, but for some reason that we haven't actually used this Miiverse for a long time. I don't know why, but anyway. So just like Blooper's secret lair, it immediately takes you into this jungle theme level, but we're not going to go in there just yet, because again, we're going to be completing the whole entire game. So, what's this guy say? Dear Bowser, KFC or Burger King? Well, usually that, normally that I haven't been onto these restaurants though, because most of the time, the only time I've been into is McDonald's, because I found McDonald's to be quite a surprise restaurant I found. Alright, so here we go with the castle level of Layer Cake Desert, which I think it's actually called, Molten's Compactor Castle. Which, kind of thing a bit, back in Acorn Plains, is that the first ever Koopaline we're facing off against is Lemmy Koopa, and now this time though we're facing off against with Molten Koopa Jr. instead, which I don't know why he appears about way too early throughout this whole entire point, but hey, at least this guy reminds me of all, like, you know, the Koopalines kind of shuffled up a bit for when it comes to deal with them in battle. Especially consists of this is actually the 4th entry in the new Super Mario Bros. Series as far as this point in time. Well, not to mention though the 8th installments, technically speaking, for 2D Mario games. But I won't count Super Mario 3D Land because it's usually a 3D Mario game rather than a 2D Mario game. Because normally that since this game was again almost 4 years old, that usually that this game wasn't as new this time around, well, at least as far as the year's point in time, because basically as some people, including Emperix, might actually just call this Super Mario Bros. 8, and then when he picks up New Super Mario Bros. 2, he might actually call it Super Mario Bros. 7, which that's why that in his video game collection video, mostly Nintendo Wii and Nintendo DS as well, that he calls New Super Mario Bros. 5, and then also New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and it calls it Super Mario Bros. 6. So I'm pretty sure imagine if how with Emperix, if you actually just to look onto his YouTube channel, you should definitely recommend that. Every now and then he's actually now doing some live streams now, which is pretty impressive. Even though right now he's actually doing some live streams on Super Mario 64 in time. So yeah, that'll be pretty impressive for that regard. But even then though, that Sonic and Styx are still continuing their playthrough on Super Mario 64 DS, so yeah. So yeah, as far as Super Mario Run is about to come out, I'm presuming it will actually come out until during December this year. Well, sometime in December 2016, just like Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue on the PlayStation 4. So anyway, So for this level's gimmick here is basically we have to dodge those little crushing blocks and stuff. Like if you get crushed by these little shifting blocks and stuff, you probably ended up dying instantly. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Alright, time to deal with Molten Cooper Jr. So I wonder what his battle gimmick is this time. So as you can tell that he's actually got himself a bigger hammer, and what he's going to use as a hammer from is to actually whack those parts of the body parts, which I found this to be quite easy to dodge though, especially when it's these patterns here. But if you manage to actually just, you know, stomp on him like 3 times, especially consists of you actually just trying to beat him like no sweat, especially with this strategy here, they probably always do that every time. Like you just ended up skipping the Poke battle, or in this case the Poke section. So overall, yet again, pretty pathetic easier boss fight. Well, usually it's not too much harder kind of thing about it, although it will get harder as we progress though, with the different types of contraptions that Koopalings will actually use this time. Alright, 2 Koopalings down and only like, let's say 5 left, until we actually make our way to Princess Peach's castle and manage to save her until we actually like demolish Bowser. From after that, well, until it gets to Super Mario 3D World, that Bowser will no longer going to kidnap Peach until Super Mario Maker, of course. So anyway, we got yet again all star coins collected in Layer Cake Desert, and it gets like an exact same message comment. So yeah, it's pretty cool, obviously. So and actually, when you actually finish Layer Cake Desert, you only have like a path of your choices right there, which I'll explain to you in just a second. So yeah, which we're gonna show it to you right now, is the fact that you can actually go either the Frosty Glacier, which is essentially a snow theme level, or Sparkling Waters down there, which is essentially a tropical theme level. Now, as far as I remember back in 2013, that although it wasn't there anymore, but granted though, that definitely usually go through Frosty Glacier first. Although actually we won't talk about until when Definitely gets to New Super Luigi U at some point. So we can go either Frosty Glacier or Sparkling Waters, and if you couldn't guess by now, the next world we're about to be heading to is Sparkling Waters. So join us next time on Let's Play New Super Mario Bros. U for the Nintendo Wii U, that we're about to be moving on to Sparkling Waters. So see you guys then. Later, fellas.